Hi, this is Grandpa. This is Grandpa's Underworld. Plutonium experiments. From April 1945 to July 1947, 18 people were injected with plutonium as part of the Manhattan Project. Albert Stevens, a man misdiagnosed with stomach cancer, received treatment for his cancer in 1945. Dr. Joseph Gilbert Hamilton, in charge of human experiments in California, had Stevens injected with Pu-238 and Pu-239, which I believe is plutonium, without informed consent. Stevens never had cancer. A surgery to remove cancerous cells was highly successful in removing a benign tumor, and he lived for another 20 years with the injected plutonium. Since Stevens received the highly radioactive Pu-238, his accumulated dose over his remaining life was higher than anyone has ever received, 64 SV. Neither Albert Stevens nor any of his relatives were told that he never had cancer. They were led to believe that the experimental treatment had worked. His cremated remains were acquired by the Argonne National Laboratory Center for Human Radiobiology in 1975 without the consent of surviving relatives. Some of the ashes were transferred to the National Human Radiobiology Tissue Repository at Washington State University, which keeps the remains of people who have died having radioisotopes in their bodies. Immediately after the World War, researchers gave 829 pregnant mothers in Tennessee what they were told were vitamin drinks that would improve the health of their babies. The mixtures contained radioactive iron, and the researchers were determining how fast the radioisotope crossed into the placenta. At least 3 of the children are known to have died from the experiments from cancers and leukemia. 4 of the women's babies died from cancers as a result of the experiments, and the women experienced rashes, bruises, anemia, hair and tooth loss, and cancer. From 1946 to 1953, 73 mentally disabled children were fed oatmeal containing radioactive calcium and other radioisotopes in order to track how nutrients were digested. The children were not told that they were being fed radioactive chemicals. In the 1950s, researchers at the Medical College of Virginia performed experiments on severe burn victims without their knowledge or consent. In the experiments, the subjects were exposed to additional burning treatment, experimental antibiotic, and injections of radioactive isotopes. The number of radioactive phosphorus-32 injected some of the patients, 500 microcuries, was 50 times the acceptable dose for a healthy individual. For people with severe burns, this likely led to significantly increased death rates. In 1956, researchers gave mentally disabled children radioactive calcium orally and intravenously. They also injected radioactive chemicals into malnourished babies and then collected cerebrospinal fluid for analysis from their brains and spines. In 1961 and 62, 10 Utah State Prison inmates had blood samples that were taken, which were mixed with radioactive chemicals and then re-injected back into their bodies. Well, if you like my content, hit the like button, or if you like me, whichever, hit the like button. If you'd like to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. If you want to know when we do this again, you can hit the notification bell. That's it for Grandpa's Underworld. We'll see you later on.